raining earlier today, but now it's turned out to be really nice out. Got some clouds, but the skies are blue for the most part. Got my partner back with me. Glad to have him back, because today I'm going to be doing a video on hand splitting a full cord, and going to show you about how long that takes me to do. And I know it's going to be different for different people and different wood types and all of that. I'll be mainly splitting white oak. There'll probably be some red oak, maybe some poplar too, but mainly oak. I may try to add some poplar in on this one as well though. But anyways, I brought some things with me to set up a way that we could stack the wood so that we'll know we get a full cord. Because I know some people, I've even sold to people before who thought a full cord was a face cord, which is a stack of wood cut to 16 inches. That's 4 feet tall and 8 feet long. So that's a face cord is what that is. And I found in my truck with, I think around a 6.5 foot bed, what it fits in there if you loosely throw it in is about a face cord of wood if you loosely throw it in. That's why I'm able to fit about 2 face cords with the rails on the way I have it. But I'm going to be delivering some today. I've got a load to deliver to a guy that I used to mow for, and but I thought while I'm at it, I might as well go ahead and just show about how long it takes to do a full cord, not a face cord, a full cord of wood. So that's 3 stacks of wood that are cut to around 16 inches, 4 feet tall and 8 feet long, the stacks. And I'm going to measure them and show you all that as we go. And that way you get an idea of about how much you can do. You know, you can do more than a full cord. I've done 3, and in the future I intend to do a video showing you that you can do 3 face cords. And I know there's different levels of that. Different people may not be able to get that. Some people may be able to get more. But I plan to show, that's the most I've ever done as of yet. It was 3 in a day. And that was give or take because I wasn't actually stacking it and measuring it. I was taking it on and delivering it with the trailer, and I'll show you a picture of that setup. But it could fit a full cord in it. But anyways, we're heading there now and going to get started on this and get this done today, get this delivered to this guy. Very pretty day, feels so much better, feels like it's around 70. A lot better weather for hand splitting. Feels good, it ain't chilly. Make sure you keep the fingers out of the way.
Okay.
And I need you here a little bit to get that curtain out there.
I got that. I got that.
Okay.
Well, that was loud.
Right, so one will be here. For now, I'll just do it. Two right here. These may be hard to drive in. And 3 right here beside it. Okay.
That was easy.
It's gonna be really loud. Yeah, that's not one that can go very good. So I'm just doing it to show you that it is a full cord. If you do this, wear ear protection. This is very loud.
Yeah, very loud.
Don't do dumb the way I do it. Or do you hold that on that post?
Okay.
Touch it right up against it.
Like that.
Yeah, right to the front.
Like that.
Like that. Get 8 feet. It'll be right there. I marked the spot. Full cord is a lot of wood.
Oh, yeah.
So it's 8 feet. Same thing on the next one, Carter.
Oh, okay.
Go to it. Stack it like this. It gives more than a cord. should all be good enough at least to hold it.
It's actually pretty
If I
big.
drive them a little more, I will.
That's pretty big.
It's gonna be a lot of wood. Yep. Okay. It ain't pretty, but it's gonna get the job done. I'm just gonna show the splitting. See what we got. That is a cheap way as well at home. I mean, you can make them look a lot better than I did. This ground is very solid, and I'm just doing this for the test, so I can show you it's a full cord of wood. But it's a cheap, not real expensive way to do it, you know, home. But you don't have to use these. You can even use trees like that over there. Char the bottoms of them and dig a hole down in the ground with a post hole digger, and then put those down in the ground, tamp them down. You can use those and lay some pallets on the ground or something. I think plastic pallets or something like that would be better than the wood ones, because those wood will rot over time, but they will work for quite a while. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get to cutting and get me a bunch, and I'm guessing for 2 face cords it takes me around 40 rounds. So I'm guessing it's gonna take 55 or 60 rounds to make a full cord. We'll see. I'll get Carter to start stacking it now. Go ahead and grab some, Carter, and I'll show you how. Got 3 on each side. You start on this side if you want. It will do every row. First we'll do one there. That way you kind of know how they go. One here. I want the wood to be about center with it. Like that. The last one the same way. About like that. So they're all pretty much center. Pretty close anyways. And now just start making rows that way to get that post, and then stack up. Start with this one right here. This one, first one. That way you don't have to walk over top of your wood. Start with this one. Start filling it into that post and try to keep it straight all the way across to this post. Don't try not to let it go off at angles and stuff. This is what the wood pile looked like when I first started getting wood from there. There was a lot more wood, and it goes down in a ditch back behind there. I mean, there's hundreds of big oaks and poplars and some more in there as well. Taking it down a lot in a year. I'll keep splitting it and you just stack it. Stacking that wood. Stacking that wood like a good boy should. Stack, 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 stack. Stack that wood till he fell on his back. Stack, 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 stack. The weather was much nicer this day for splitting, probably around 70 degrees, and that really makes a big difference. When you're doing it in August heat and it's around 80 or 90 degrees, that drains your body so much faster. Just about all of this wood here is white oak. There's some poplar in here, very little though. And I knew this was going to be a lot of wood going into this. I know how much a full cord is, and I've said on one of my other videos that I did 3 in a day before, and that was not me stacking it and counting it. So I do plan to do a more accurate video in the future of that, doing 3 full cords. I had a trailer back then at the time, and a man had bought 5 full cords off of me, and 3 of those I brought him in one day. And so the way that I was doing it was just throwing it in the trailer, and I knew about how much it would hold. And so that was give or take. But I will show a video of that to show you that I have done 3 full cords in a day. And I believe I could maybe even do 4 if, you know, I started early enough. I think your pile's getting off a little bit, Cardi. What? I think it's going to be into that one. I'll need to come this way a little bit. Take it right now, boy. Take that wood right now, boy. If you're talking about 4 full cords for me, that is 4 times 3 would be 12 face cords. So that's I sell it for 200 for 2 face cords. So 100 per face cord is what I sell it for. And so if I did 4 full cords, that would be 12 face cords. So that would be $1,200 worth of wood. And I could do that in a day, splitting. That would be no deliveries or anything. And that would be a hard pushing it kind of day. I have had many of those days, really, to be honest with you. When you're working by yourself like I am, other than Carter, you have to kind of push a certain pace in order to make a certain amount of money. And I have a goal usually of what I want to make. And I'm not a man trying to get rich on this at all. I'm just trying to make a comfortable living. And just to give you an idea, I used to, when I worked at factories, I mean, I had some factory jobs that paid up to like $24 an hour and stuff like that. And they actually went up even more than that. But it was based on your production, how fast you were at it. But even at those jobs, I might have made like $700 or $800 a week or something like that, around that. So maybe, what does that come out to? A little over $100 a day, $150 a day or something like that. And if you sell one load of this firewood, just one of the loads I do, that's $200 a day. And then, like I said, you can charge for your gas as well. So $200 a day, that's $1,000 a week. That's just one load. I mean, I think most people could do one load, without a doubt. And if you happen to get you a helper, you could do even more. My brother stayed with me for a while. He lived with me, and pretty much a whole winter, and he would help me, and that really made a big help. Like I would cut the wood, and while I was getting the rounds cut, he would go ahead and start splitting them. And then once I got so many cut, I would jump in there with him, and we would do it together. And then we would end up loading it. While I split, sometimes he would load it. And it does go much faster with 2 people. And you can make still very good profit with 2 people. Really, probably more profit with 2 people. So if you do 2 of the loads a day that I do, and you sell them for what I sell them for, that's $400 a day. With 2, which is less than 2 full cords, it's 4 face cords is what it is. 2 men can that want to work can definitely do that in a day. And if you pay your helper, just say $100 a day, that leaves you with $300. Or if you pay them $150, that leaves you with $250. You can do 3 a day, really, with 2 guys. I've done 3 a day by myself, so. But like I said, this isn't going to be the same for everybody. And I'm not trying to brag about myself, but as far as being in shape for this kind of stuff goes, I am in pretty good shape for it. I don't look like it, I know that, but my heart rate and everything, and I don't get fatigued too easy. My cardio, I guess you'd call it. I don't get tired very easily. And I think a big part of it is just because I've had so many jobs in my life to where I've pushed myself, and I've got to that exhausted point so many times at so many different jobs, and just kept pushing. And when you get exhausted like that and you push through it and you just keep doing that, your body begins to adjust to that. And then after a while, you don't get exhausted so easy anymore. And then after a while, you can go for a long time without even getting very tired. So, and that's the same way with firewood. I mean, when I get to that tired point, a lot of times I'll keep pushing. I'll think of where I'm at, how much time I'm trying to get it done in, what time I told them I'd be there with the wood and things like that. And so I push a pace, and I've become, after years of doing it, I've become pretty accurate at being able to push a pace and get it done in a certain amount of time, the amount of time I need to get it done in. Now, there are times I'm off with that time as well, but once you do it for so long, you'll kind of learn how long it takes you to get a certain amount of wood, and how long it takes you to stack that wood, and how long it takes you to deliver it, and all this stuff. And so I do deliveries all over the place. Like I do Lexington, that's about an hour away. The farthest I've went before is about 2 hours actually with a delivery, and that was in Louisville. And but I charge for gas. I think I charged a decent amount for gas for that. So if I do 2 full cords a day, even that amount for me would be enough. That would be 6 face cords, so that'd be $600 worth of wood a day. And you'd still be able to make a delivery too in that time if you push a consistent pace and start pretty early and everything. I have done 3 full cords around that, give or take. I didn't actually count them, but the loads the trailer I was using was around a full cord, and I did 3. I may have done a little more, may have done a little less, but in the future I plan to do a video on doing 3 full cords, and I'll stack them like this and show you, and it'll be a long day. Now, if you're doing that much splitting, you may not do any deliveries for the day. If I remember correctly, I delivered that guy's late in the evening. When I got there, it was almost dark when I delivered the last load to him, if I'm not mistaken. Which he was pretty close to the wood too, though, from what I can remember. But anyways, even if you just hand split one a day and take it on, that's $200. Well, actually, it's more. A full cord, if you split a full cord, for me, what I charge, 2 full cords would end up being 6 face cords. So as I said earlier, that would be $600 worth of wood. So if you do 1 full cord a day and you sell 2 face cords for $200, you've still got a face cord left. So you've got pretty much $100 worth of wood left is what you've got, and you sell that $200. So you've got $300 worth of wood in a day, and you made $200 that day. And then the next day, if you do the same thing, you'll have, if you do a full cord the next day, you'll have 4 face cords to sell. So you'll have 2 full big loads the next day that you can deliver both that day if you wanted to. So like I said, it's really about how much you want to push, how much you want to make. And I'm not trying to convince anybody that I make more than anybody with log splitter. I know without a doubt those guys with the wood processor and log splitters make a lot more than I do, without a doubt. I'm not trying to do it just for money. Of course, I'm doing it for money to make a living, but I don't just do firewood. In the summertime, I do landscaping and junk removal as well. So my income isn't completely dependent upon firewood. If it was, then yeah, I would probably, if I was going to do it full time, you know, all through the summer and everything, yeah, it'd make more sense to have a splitter. But at the same time, like I said, you can do 3 full cords a day, really maybe even more if you wanted to. Now that would probably be no deliveries though, if you're doing all that splitting. You probably wouldn't do any deliveries. If you did the delivery, you'd be so tired you wouldn't even want to stack it. So this is for somebody that's out there wanting to make a little money, wanting to, maybe they need something for the winter time. They've got work in the summer. This is a good way to do it. You don't have to have a log splitter. Like I said, if you did 1 load a day, that would be just 2 face cords even. You don't even have to do a full cord. 2 face cords a day would be $1,000 a week. If you wanted to work Saturday, that's another $200. There's $1,200 a week. If you do 2 a day, you're talking about $400 a day. So that's $2,000 a week. You want to do 6, there's $2,200, and you charge extra for gas if you want to. I do. If it's out of my county, I charge extra. If it's in my county, I don't charge any extra. So anyways, that's the way that I do it. If you want to take days off every now and then, you can. Like if you want to do a couple loads one day and take the next day off, or next 2 days off, it's up to you when you're working for yourself. So I'm happy with how it works out for me. This is how I do it. I enjoy it. I'm not completely opposed to getting a good splitter in the future. Like I said, if I did that, I'd want the wood delivered to my home, maybe in big loads of logs delivered to my house, and I'd do it that way. But right now, honestly, I'm happy with how I do it, and even if I did it that way, I would still be hand splitting as well. I know some of those splitters can split a lot of wood in a short amount of time. So if I was able to do that, I'd probably be just hand splitting after. Anyways, I'm gonna get off here and get back to it. And through this here, I know you can't tell how fast I'm going because I have it in a higher speed, but I had to take the speed down on this because it ended up being, the video would have been an hour and a half or 2 hours if I wouldn't have, counting everything that we did. I didn't push a real hard pace here, and as I said in this video somewhere else, there's times where I picked up the pace a little bit, and times where I kind of relaxed a little bit. But I wasn't pushing a hard pace here. Now when I did this hashtag, let's split this challenge here a while back, I think I did over a full cord, or around a full cord, give or take, around a full cord in 10 minutes. But now that was pushing hard as I could push, really. That was pushing literally with pretty much all I had. And because I ended up delivering a load the next day from that, And then after that, the next load I did, I still had some more wood left from it. So I delivered 2 face cords, and then I think I may have had almost a whole nother load with it as well. So it was around a full cord of wood, and that was in 10 minutes. But of course, you don't want to do that every day. You really don't want to push that pace, period. I don't myself. I don't mind to do it for something like that, just to see what I can get, but that's nothing I'd want to do on a daily basis, because the next day after that hashtag let's split this challenge, the next day I was drained. Like I went out there and I split the wood up a little bit more, loaded it and took it on, did a delivery. It was raining that day, and then I went home and took it easy. I mean, last night I was so tired just from work. I mean, even if you ain't pushing yourself hard, it still wears you out. Last night when I got home, I was so tired that I didn't even edit this video. So this is the next morning, and I'm editing the video now and planning to post it here soon. Usually I'll, at nighttime, late at night, when my kids are sleeping, the only time I get some quiet time, really, that's when I try to edit the videos. And these, I've heard people on YouTube before talk about how long it takes to edit videos and things like that. And they're not joking. It takes quite a while to edit these videos, hours sometimes. And then recording them, like, I think this particular video here, I had around 2.5 hours of footage. And I've got that down now, it looks like, to about 40 minutes or so. So it does take editing, and that does take time. Setting the camera up takes time. Getting the right angles takes time. It is time consuming. But I enjoy it very much. And being able to go back and watch this stuff, I enjoy a whole lot too. Being able to go back, and I've always loved home videos and stuff like that. When I was a little kid, we used to have a bunch of those VHS tapes that had me as a little boy, and I loved watching them with my family. And it had the rest of my family as well, and just seeing those memories. There's something about watching those old home videos is just special. And so this stuff right here is memories that we'll be able to look back on in the future at our business, and and I call these videos, some of them are these the uploads, Firewood Adventures, because that's what it is. It's really like we're going on an adventure, and we really enjoy that, because we get into a lot of different things. Like, there's a lot of things that happen that I don't record. Like, me and Carter goof off. This day I had chased him, just joking around with him. I was running after him, and I ended up slipping and falling all the way down to my belly. And he got a pretty good laugh out of that. But we do stuff like that pretty often. I don't always record that kind of stuff. That wood right there, that was red oak, and that was so easy to split. I mean, I don't know how many pieces I got, maybe 20 or 30, and that took maybe a minute or so. That red oak splits very easy compared to the white oak. This here's a piece, I think, of maple, if I'm not mistaken. But those T-posts are a good way to do that, really, and I know a lot of people know that already. I also think that just getting trees and using them as posts and charring the bottom, that way they don't rot so easily, and especially a hardwood like oak or something would last longer, and using those as posts and setting you up a good place to put your wood. But full cord is a lot of wood, it really is. I mean, I know some guys, if I'm not mistaken, they'll deliver a face cord and say that it's a full cord, and some customers don't know the difference. I had a guy call me a while back, and he was asking for a full cord, and I think he was calling it a face cord, and he was asking my price, and I said, are you wanting a full cord or a face cord? Because I gave him a price, I think, on a smaller load. And then when he explained it to me, I said, well, that one costs a little bit more. I said, that'll be this amount. And he said, well, you know more about it than I do. He didn't know what a full cord was exactly, and that's pretty common with a lot of customers. If you're in the firewood business, you're probably pretty aware of what a full cord is. It's 4 feet. It's stacks that are cut to 16 inches, 4 feet tall, and 8 feet long. Now, if the wood is cut to more than 16 inches, 18 inches even, you're giving them 2 inches of extra wood per stack. So by the time you get to the end, you're giving them half a foot of extra wood. I mean, and I would not recommend that unless you're charging more. A full cord's a lot of wood as it is without giving them extra wood. And I have customers sometimes ask for, longer size wood, and that's something that you should reflect in your price. If you're giving them a stack that's 4 feet 8 or 4 foot tall by 8 feet long, and it's cut to 20 inches rather than 16, you need to charge a little more for that, because you're giving them 4 inches of extra wood compared to usual. And some people will argue with that, and I've had some customers that try to argue with things, and then I've had most of the time, I've had very good customers that are easy to deal with, return customers. But there's some people out there, it just seems like they maybe they're in a bad mood that day or whatever. Maybe there's just some hateful people out there as well. So you're going to run into both. But most of the time, I actually run into really good customers. I've ran into a lot of great deals through customers. That's how I got my red truck that you see me driving there, was from a Firewood customer. Gave him $2,500 for that truck. 103,000 miles, standard 6-speed, 4-wheel drive. And before I bought that truck from him, I was pulling the wood with a little Saturn View and a 5x10 utility trailer that I put rails on. And that's in one of my videos, how I started my firewood business, I think is what it's called. And you can see that Saturn View that I use. So you can make this work. There's many different ways that you can make it work. And there's many different ways to get wood as well. Craigslist is one. I mentioned it here a while back, and this is something that'll be in one of my future videos. And that's a permit, a firewood permit for the Daniel Boone National Forest. And so I plan to get that here soon. And tree services. I've got wood from tree services. And it's just harder when you do it like that. Like if you can find logged out land like this here, especially if the wood's been down for a while, that's the best thing you can do. Even if the wood hasn't been down for a while, that's the best thing you can do. Because I'll insert a picture in this video of how big this wood pile was. And now that I think about it, this is only my second year from taking from this wood pile here. This is only my second year from taking stuff from this. So I've taken a lot of wood from that. Just shows how much wood I sold last year. Last year I can't remember if my brother helped me or if it was just me, but last year I think it was just me. We had a big ice storm, and so the firewood, like all during that ice storm, I was out driving, and I had my F-150 at that time, if I'm not mistaken. I was out driving in my F-150 and selling wood the whole time. I mean, I stayed busy. Sold a lot. No telling how many loads of wood I sold last year. Really, every year since I've started, I've sold many loads. And when I've told people that before, that I split it by hand, it's like they think it's hard to believe that I sold that many loads by hand. But no, I mean, I'm showing you right here. You can, if you did, just say if you did 1 full quart a day even, like right here, this didn't take a full day at all by any means. But this is 1 full quart of wood once we get it done here. If you did one of them a day, that's 3 face cords a day. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 face cords a week. So you're talking about 15, 30, 60 face cords a month. Okay, and that's not, I'm telling you right now, a full quart is not a hard day for me. A full quart is not a hard day. 2 full quarts would be a pretty exhausting day. But a full cord is not a hard day. This was a relaxed day. I didn't even hardly break a sweat in this. I mean, I may have every now and then, but you see my clothes normally, they're drenched. This day I wasn't.
A little over a face
I
cord
think my
and a
little boy
half.
even asked me, he said, "Were your clothes wet?" And I think I said, "No, not really." And it's because I just didn't push a very hard pace in this. Splitting time, so we have an idea about how long it took to do this. And like I said, I'll sell it by 2 face cords, and I get 200. So a full cord is going to be more than that. You're going to have, as far as the loads I do, you're going to have 1.5 of those loads. So this would really be $300 worth of wood pretty much. And then we'll kind of calculate how much time it takes to do it. Not pushing a hard pace. I'm not even out of breath. Even when I've been splitting, I haven't been getting very out of breath. So I'll split the rest. I think I split around 40. It took around 40 rounds to get that amount. So over a face cord and a half. So that's what I'm saying. A full quart of wood is a whole lot of wood. Some people don't realize just how much it is. What I said there was a full quart of wood is a whole lot of wood, and it really is. Anybody that really knows about firewood knows that a full quart of wood is quite a bit of wood. Some more red oak, some poplar. But as I was saying before, doing a full quart of wood isn't a hard day. It's not. And that's $300 worth of wood. So just say it that way, you know, for me, $300, the way that I sell it. If I do a full quart a day, it's a $300 day. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, $1,500 a week. That's not a hard day, and that's pretty good money, $1,500 a week. You're talking about $6,000 a month. So what would that be, 72,000 a year that you're making? That's pretty good money. Without a doubt it is. I'm not in this at all by any means to get rich. I'm not that kind of person that's worried about making all kinds of money. Like I've seen and I'm not at all trying to offend anybody in saying this, but like I've seen men go away and be away from their families their whole lives just to make a whole lot of money. And sometimes maybe that man feels like he needs to do that because he has so many kids and stuff like that. If he's supporting his family, that's good. But for me, that time with my family, no amount of money is more valuable than that to me. So the way that I do it, I get to spend time with my family. I'm there every night. I'm home every night. I'm home a lot of times really of the evening. If I want to take days off, I can. If we want to take a vacation or something, we can, as long as we got the money for it. So I'm very happy. I work for myself. I don't have a boss. I never did like working for bosses because I've always found just about everywhere I've worked and had a boss, a lot of people can't handle authority. Like I'm talking about as far as boss figures go. It's like they let that authority go to their head and they want to talk down to you. And I never did like that. I have very, very low tolerance for that. I mean, I've quit a lot of jobs because of supervisors and things just being very hateful. Just because they could, really. But I'm not going to deal with that stuff, and I don't have to. You know, I'm working for myself, making more money. Like when I started out doing lawn care, I started for a bigger company, and the guy that was over the company was like a very high-minded guy. I mean, he was making money. He was making probably $3 million a year, and he was paying us like $10 an hour for going out and working hard. I'm not talking about regular weed eating. I'm talking about commercial where we were doing derby horse farms all day, mile after mile after mile, with the big commercial weed eater out in the sun, making that little bit of money, and this guy was making all kinds of money. And the last day I was there, he kind of hollered at me in front of everybody, and just like trying to belittle me, and even rolled the window up in my face as I was trying to talk to him, and his wife was in there. I was talking to him, and he just rolled the window up in my face, and I was thinking, man, what a high-minded guy. He must really think he's something to sit and do this stuff. So anyways, that day I ended up leaving there and never went back, and don't regret it in the least bit. I'm very happy for the experience I got there. But if you're working for somebody else, making them wealthy from your sweat and from your hard work, why in the world would you do that when you're able to go out and work for yourself? That's the way I feel about it. I don't regret leaving there at all. That was actually, I mean, the pay and everything was not very good at all, and that guy was making no telling how much. I mean, the guy strutted around. He was one of them really high-minded people, and I just didn't like dealing with him. And the place was a bad environment. Like, he allowed the guys there to drink, and some of them did drugs and everything. It was just, I'm glad to be out there. It's bad memories for me, really. Like, I have some very good memories of some of the beautiful farms and stuff we would do, because we got to see some beautiful locations working there. But being away from there really is just kind of like a bad memory in my life. Told Carter to watch his finger, and there it is. It's easy to do, though. But anyways, if you've done something like that, if you've got some sort of skill like that, there's no sense in making somebody else wealthy when you can go work for yourself. I have an uncle that's done concrete since he was, I think, a teenager, and he's still doing it. And he's probably close to 50 now. And me and him were talking one day, and he was talking about how much better it is to work for yourself. And if you don't really know what it's like, I mean, there's no freedom like it really working for yourself. It truly is a freedom from that. I'm trying to think of the right word to use. Just the control, for one thing. The way that they can control you with fear and stuff, knowing that you'll lose your job if you disagree with them or don't do exactly as they say, even if you don't agree with the way they're saying it and all this stuff. Even if you're working hard, like for that guy, I worked hard. There would be a lot of guys there that, like, we would get 2 breaks a day when we get lunch, and a lot of times I wouldn't even take a break. And they even told me then, they was like, you need to take a break, Dylan, and just sit down and take a break. They called me Bravo. That's what they nicknamed me there. All those guys had nicknames, and they nicknamed me Bravo. But anyways, they would tell me I needed to take a break and all that, and I like to stay busy, and I was just always in my work like that. When I was a little boy, I remember I was trying to make my papa proud. Like, I would be a little bitty boy, and I would just go out and try to do work and think, well, papa's going to be proud of me, and it meant a lot to me to do that. And I've kind of kept that mindset since then, like, not just about not trying to be prideful, but taking pride in your work, being proud of your work.
that you do, doing it right, you know, doing a good job. And so I've tried to do that since then, really, for the most part. There's been jobs too to where I haven't, like slower paced jobs and stuff, but when I've got a hard job and stuff, and I'm not saying in a slower paced job you shouldn't do a good job. I've just, those kind of jobs have always bored me, and I had to make myself stay there just because I knew I needed the money. But uh, working a certain physical labor like this, I try to do a good job in it. It means a lot to me. It really does, and that will reflect in the quality of your product. That will reflect in your customers, your return customers. They'll see that stuff. They'll, like I've had customers before in my landscaping, a woman who I would trim her hedges and do a lot of landscaping for, painted a shed for, and she said, I know you'll do it right. She said, I trust you. I know you'll do it right. And that kind of stuff means a lot to me when somebody tells me something like that. Because they're depending on me to do a good job. They're putting their faith in me. I don't want to let them do that in vain. I want to make sure I do a good job for them. And that pays off. I believe in, I've said it before, I believe strongly in you reap what you sow. And I don't mean just in, when you do bad in life, that comes back to you. Like people say, what goes around comes around. Well, the Bible had already stated that fact. It just stated it in a different way. You reap what you sow. But here we are at measuring the stacks here. You can see it's right around 4 feet. I'm not saying these are 100% accurate, but these are right around 4 feet, and then 8 feet long as well. So 3 stacks cut to around 16 inches. Some are actually probably longer. Some may be shorter. And that comes out to around a full cord of wood. All the way to the end. All right, as you see, right at 8 feet here. The post is right there, so. So I cut the audio out, and I'm going to add this recording in because I wanted to say a few things. If you're thinking about doing your own firewood business, don't think too long on it. Just go for it. Just go ahead and go for it. If you've got access to the wood and you've got tools and you've got a way to deliver it, now make sure you have all of that stuff. Do it smart. Don't jump into something if you're not able to take it on. But if you have that stuff and you have access to the wood, go for it. Advertise. You have to advertise as well, especially starting out. If you have to stick a stack of wood at the end of your driveway and put a for sale sign on it, that's advertising. When I first started out here, I looked it up on YouTube. I watched a lot of people. I got excited, and I started putting that to work for me. The mindset that I had, it was, I'm going to make this work however I have to, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't have to have a log splitter. I didn't have to have a four-wheel drive truck. I used a little SUV. I used an axe. I used a little steel 170, and I went to work. And from there I have grown. Now I have a four-wheel drive truck. I've had many trailers since then and sold many trailers. I've had many bigger saws and many different saws. And I've had a log splitter since then, sold the log splitter within a week. I did not like it at all. But my point with this is, if you feel like you want to do this, do it, but do it right. Don't jump into it and put yourself in a bad position. Be smart about it. But don't let fear stop you from taking the move to do this your whole life, because that's what a lot of people do, and that's what I almost did. Because when you have a job like that, it is security, when you have like a factory job or something of that nature. But when you get into something like this and you stay consistent with it, you'll see that there's security in this too. This is my 4th year now doing firewood, my 4th year working for myself, my 4th year doing landscaping, and I don't regret it in the least bit. A matter of fact, it's one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. And if I would have listened to many people, I never would have done it. If I would have listened to all these people that were afraid, and I'll just say what it is, it's garbage. Don't listen to that garbage, because garbage is something you want to get rid of. It does you no good. So if you're listening to all that stuff from those people, that all these naysayers, don't do that, because that will bring you down. And if you're surrounded by people like that,